Okay, so let's head down to South Florida. I want to take a mental trip to Boynton Beach.
Hmm.
You know the vibe. Beautiful weather, palm trees, and those immaculate 55-plus communities where everything is just manicured to perfection.
Right. The perfect green lawn is part of the package.
It is. You buy into that lifestyle, you pay your HOA fees,
Mm.
and you expect your castle to look like a castle.
Oh.
But recently, for a lot of people in that area, the dream has turned a little crispy.
Oh, crispy is, putting it mildly. For a lot of homeowners in Palm Beach County, it's been absolutely devastating.
Really?
Yeah, we aren't talking about a few brown spots here and there. We are talking about waking up to find that the lush green carpet you spent thousands of dollars maintaining
Yeah.
has turned into dead straw and dirt.
And it's not just the aesthetic loss, right? It's the financial insanity of it.
Exactly.
I mean, we're hearing stories of residents ripping out that dead grass, spending a fortune to lay down brand new, beautiful sod.
Mm-hmm.
And then a year later, sometimes less, it's dead again. It feels like you're fighting a ghost.
It does.
So, okay, let's unpack this because the sources we're looking at today are very clear. This isn't chinch bugs, and it isn't because your sprinklers are broken.
No, and that's the first hurdle everyone has to get over. This is not a maintenance failure.
You did do something wrong.
You didn't. We are dealing with a silent killer called Lethal Viral Necrosis, or LVN. And to understand it, you have to, fundamentally shift how you think about lawn care.
How so?
Well, most lawn problems are fungal or insect-based. You spray something, the bug dies, the grass comes back.
Right.
This is viral.
Which sounds incredibly serious. I mean, we know what viruses do to humans, but we don't often think about them coming for the lawn.
It is serious. It's essentially a force of nature that is rewriting the rule book for landscaping in South Florida. And it is specifically targeting the most popular grass in the state, Floratum St. Augustine.
So our mission for this deep dive is pretty specific. We are going to walk through the history of this disease because it actually has strong ties to the Boynton Beach and Wellington areas.
It does.
We're going to look at the science of why it kills Floratum. And most importantly, we need to talk about the only real solutions available. Because there are solutions.
There are.
But they require accepting some really hard truths.
They do. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's really a lesson in adaptation. We can't fight nature on this one. We have to work around it.
Let's start with the diagnosis.
Right.
What exactly is happening inside the plant? You pulled some research from Dr. Phil Harmon at the University of Florida that uses a really helpful analogy.
Yeah, the chickenpox versus shingles one.
Tell me about it.
It's the best way to understand the virology without getting a degree in biology. So the villain here is a virus called sugarcane mosaic virus, or SCMV.
Okay.
Now, here's the kicker. This virus isn't new. It's been in Florida since the 1960s. It lived in sugarcane, it lived in pastures, and it even lived in St. Augustine grass.
So it's been around forever.
For decades. But it caused what we call mosaic disease.
And that's the chicken pox part of the analogy.
Exactly. Think of mosaic disease like chicken pox. The grass catches the virus. If you were to crawl around on your lawn with a magnifying glass, you might see these little broken yellow lines on the leaf blades. That's the mosaic pattern.
Okay.
But the grass lives. It stays green, it grows, it photosynthesizes. It's like a kid who gets chickenpox, feels crummy for a week, but recovers and life goes on.
The grass tolerates it.
It tolerates it. But then around 2013 or 2014, something shifted. The virus didn't just stay as chickenpox.
It got worse.
It got much worse. We saw a tipping point. We don't know if the virus mutated slightly or if the environmental conditions just aligned perfectly, but in Floratam grass specifically,
Only in Florida.
specifically in Floratum, the infection stopped being chickenpox and turned into shingles. It became systemic, it became painful for the plant, it transitioned from mosaic disease to lethal viral necrosis.
And necrosis basically meaning death.
Cell death.
Yeah.
The virus stops coexisting with the plant and starts destroying the plant's cells from the inside out. It just dissolves the cell walls.
Wow.
And that's when you see the lawn go from that mild yellow streaking to a bronze, almost metallic color. And then finally, it turns crispy and dies all the way down to the runner.
That is a terrifying progression.
Yeah.
And it explains why people are so confused, because they might see that yellow streaking and think, oh, it needs iron or it needs water.
Right, I'll just fertilize it more. But it's actually the early warning sign of the death spiral.
And once those runners die, that's it.
That's it. St. Augustine spreads by runners. If the runner is dead, the plant is gone. And nature abhors a vacuum, so once the grass dies, the weeds, crabgrass, Bermuda grass, they move in immediately.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting, and I think this answers the biggest question homeowners have.
Yeah.
Why now?
Mm-hmm.
You might have a lawn that looks okay in July, but then falls apart in December or January. Why is the winter the danger zone?
That is the temperature trigger. This is a crucial detail for residents in Boynton and Wellington to understand. The research shows that the virus goes lethal when temperatures drop below 65 degrees Fahrenheit for 3 consecutive days.
Which in South Florida is basically every cold front we get from November through February.
Exactly. Here's what's happening biologically. In the summer, Floratam is growing aggressively.
Right, it's hot, it's wet.
The metabolism of the plant is high. It can almost outrun the virus. It's growing new leaves faster than the virus can kill the old ones. It might look a little yellow, but it's holding on.
It's treading water.
It is. But then the cold snap hits. The grass's metabolism slows down. It stops growing.
But the virus doesn't.
The virus keeps replicating. It overwhelms the plant's defense system.
Yeah.
The balance tips, and the cells start to self-destruct. That's why you see these massive crashes in lawn quality right around the holidays or early spring.
That makes so much sense. You're watching the Super Bowl, looking out the window, and your yard is turning into hay while you watch.
Pretty much.
Let's talk about the geography of this, because our listeners in Boynton Beach are really in the thick of it.
They are. While the very first identification was technically over in Pinellas County in 2013, Palm Beach County, specifically that corridor, including Boynton Beach and Wellington, is considered ground zero for the severe community outbreaks on the East Coast.
Ground zero.
It started there around 2014 and has just exploded.
And it's moving. Right. It's not staying put.
It's moving like a slow-motion wave. It has marched north up to Vero Beach and St. John's, and it has moved south through Miami-Dade all the way to the Keys.
Wow.
And recently, we've seen it jump over to Lee County and Fort Myers.
So how is it moving? Because grass doesn't walk. I know the knee-jerk reaction for everyone is to blame the landscapers.
Right.
They brought it in on their mowers. Is that fair?
It's partially fair, but it's not the whole story. We have to look at the two modes of transmission, short distance and long distance.
Okay.
The short distance is indeed the dirty needle effect of lawnmowers.
The dirty needle, that's a vivid image.
It's accurate, though. The virus lives in moist plant sap.
In the sap.
So imagine a commercial mower cuts an infected lawn. It shreds those leaves. The mower deck gets coated in wet, green sap that is teeming with the virus.
Okay.
Then the crew drives 2 houses down to your house.
And they start cutting.
They start cutting. The blades slice open your healthy grass, creating a fresh wound, and immediately smear that infected sap directly into the plant's vascular system.
It is exactly like sharing a dirty needle.
It is.
Okay, so that explains how it goes from neighbor to neighbor. But I've read reports of these walled garden communities. Super high-end, gated. They have their own dedicated equipment that never leaves the property.
Right.
And yet they still get LVN. If no outside mowers are coming in, how did the virus get over the wall?
That's the paratrooper factor. That's the aphid.
The bug.
The bug. Aphids are tiny insects that suck plant sap. An aphid can feed on an infected lawn maybe a mile away, maybe just across the highway, pick up the virus, and then get caught in a wind gust.
And it just drifts.
It drifts. It flies over the wall, over the guardhouse, and drops into your pristine backyard. It takes one bite of your healthy Floratum to test it out, and boom, infection started.
That is incredibly frustrating because it basically means you have no control.
You really don't.
You can have strictest sanitation protocols in the world. You can scrub every mower blade with bleach, and the wind can still just blow the virus into your community.
And it raises a really important point about management. I hear this constantly from HOA boards. We need to pass a rule that landscapers must bleach the mowers between every single house.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, that sounds perfectly logical. If the mower is the duty needle, sterilize the needle.
On paper, yes. In reality, it's a logistical nightmare. Imagine a commercial crew mowing 300 homes in a day.
Wow.
To stop, flip up a heavy mower deck, spray it down with corrosive chemicals like household bleach or Virkon S, and wait the required 10 minutes for it to work.
Between every home.
Between every single home, you'd never finish the neighborhood.
And the chemicals aren't exactly friendly to the metal, I assume?
They rust the equipment instantly. It destroys the machines. Now, there is a nuance here that is actually helpful.
Okay.
The virus is fragile outside the plant. It needs moisture. Once the sap dries, the virus dies. It doesn't live in the soil, it doesn't live in the air, and it doesn't live in water.
So a dry mower is a safe mower?
Exactly.
Yeah.
If a mower sits in the sun for an hour and is bone dry, it's safe. But in the humid morning rush, everything stays wet.
Right.
So the most effective protocol isn't chemical warfare, it's strategic scheduling.
Treat the sick patients last.
Right. You have to map the community, you identify which homes are infected, you mow all the healthy homes first, and you save the infected homes for the very end of the day.
That limits the spreads significantly more than trying to bleach everything in sight.
It does.
That makes sense. But we also have to acknowledge the psychological toll here. John Roberts from the Palm Beach County Extension talks about this, and it sounds dramatic to use the word grief over grass.
It's not, though.
But for a lot of people in these 55-plus communities, the home is their castle.
It is. And the lawn is the frame for that castle. When it turns into a mud pit, people go through the literal stages of grief, denial, I'll just water it more, anger, the landscaper killed it,
Right.
bargaining, maybe if I buy this expensive specialized fertilizer, it'll come back.
And the bargaining stage is where people get taken advantage of.
Absolutely.
Because once people are desperate, the snake oil salesmen show up.
That is the biggest danger to your wallet right now. We need to be crystal clear on this. Do not let anyone sell you a fungicide or an insecticide to cure LVN.
Not at all.
You cannot kill a virus with the fungicide. It is a biological impossibility. It is a complete waste of money.
So no magic sprays.
No magic sprays. You might clear up a little secondary fungus, but the lawn is still going to die when the temperature hits 64 degrees.
Okay, so we've done denial, anger, and bargaining. Now we need to get to acceptance and solutions. If I'm a homeowner in Boynton Beach and my floratum is dead, what do I do?
You have to follow the golden rule of LVN. Do not replant floratum.
Say that again, because I know people are tempted. They think, well, the new sod is healthy, it'll be fine.
It won't be fine. If your floratum died once, do not put floratum back down. The sod might be clean at the farm, but your neighborhood is now a biohazard zone.
A biohazard zone.
The viral load, the sheer amount of virus in the environment is massive. You have the aphids, you have the neighbors, you have the mowers. If you put fresh baby floratum down, it's like sending a toddler into a flu ward.
It doesn't stand a chance.
It doesn't. And because it's young and vulnerable, it usually dies much faster than the first lawn did. You might get 12 to 18 months out of it before you're looking at dirt again.
That is a painful, expensive cycle. So we have to change the host.
Exactly.
We can't kill the virus, so we have to plant something the virus can't kill. What are the real alternatives on the table right now?
We really have two main contenders that are proven to work in the HOA environment. The first and the most common recommendation is Palmetto St. Augustine.
Palmetto. Okay, give us the pros and cons.
The biggest pro is simple. It doesn't die from LVN. Now, catch this nuance. Palmetto is resistant, not immune.
Oh.
It still gets the virus, it gets the chickenpox, but it never develops the shingles.
So it carries the virus, but it stays green?
It stays green, it stays alive, it tolerates the infection.
And the downside?
The downside is that it looks a little different. The blade is slightly finer, the texture isn't quite as coarse as floratum, and while it doesn't die from LVN, it is more susceptible to fungal issues and chinch bugs.
So you're trading a fatal viral problem for a manageable fungal problem.
That's the trade-off. It's not a plant it and forget it miracle grass.
Oh, grass in Florida is.
True, but it keeps the ground covered.
Okay, and option B?
Citrus St. Augustine. This is the newer option developed by the University of Florida specifically to offer something different.
Citrus, does it actually look blue?
It has a very distinctive blue-green, almost glaucous color. It really stands out.
And it's also resistant.
Like palmetto, it is resistant to LVN. It won't die from the virus. The cons are that because it's newer, we have less long-term data on how it ages over 10 or 15 years. And it seems to be a bit tastier to caterpillars, like sod webworms.
So with palmetto, you watch for fungus. With citrus, you watch for caterpillars.
Right.
But with either one, you aren't waking up to a dead lawn in December.
Correct. And that's the goal. Survival.
And there is a cost reality here, too. These alternative grasses aren't exactly cheap, are they?
No, and the math can catch you off guard. Palmetto is usually more expensive per square foot than floret. But there's a detail people miss. The pallet size.
The pallet size?
Yeah. A standard floratum pallet usually covers about 500 to 600 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
Palmetto pallets are often smaller, maybe 400 or 450 square feet. So not only is the price per pallet higher, say $600 versus $500, but you actually need more pallets to cover the same yard.
Ouch. So the cost difference adds up fast.
It does, which is why the strategy for these communities has to be community buying power.
Don't go it alone.
Exactly. If an HOA board is smart, they won't make 50 homeowners negotiate with sod farms individually. The board should go to a supplier and say, we're going to convert 50 lawns to palmetto this year. Give us the bulk rate.
And you can drive that price down.
Significantly if you bundle the project.
That is such a key takeaway. Stop fighting the virus as individuals and start negotiating as a collective. Now, before someone runs out and rips up their lawn, how do they know for sure it's LVN? We talked about bronzing, but can they get a test?
Absolutely, and you should. Don't just guess, because there is a fungal disease called rust that looks surprisingly similar.
Rust?
Yes. Rust creates these little orange or black powder spots on the grass. But if you look closely, rust has raised blisters, little pustules you can feel.
Okay.
LVN lesions are flat. But you don't need to be a botanist. You can take a sample plug of grass with the roots and send it to the UFIFOS labs in Gainesville or Homestead.
And they run a DNA test?
They do. They use PCR or ELISA tests, the same kind of tech we use for human viruses, to confirm the presence of sugarcane mosaic virus.
That's definitive.
It's definitive. It costs a small fee, but it gives you a yes or no. That seems worth the effort before dropping 10 grand on a new lawn.
100%. Confirmation is key.
So let's say I bite the bullet. I test positive. I rip out the Floratam. I put in palmetto. What does my life look like now?
The new normal.
It is the new normal. And this is where expectation management is critical. Your new palmetto lawn might still test positive for the virus later. The aphids are still going to bite it. It might have those faint yellow mosaic lines if you look closely.
But it won't be dead.
It won't be dead dirt. It will be a functional green lawn. Residents have to adjust their visual standard from perfect, flawless monoculture to healthy, living, functional landscape.
You're trading perfection for survival.
That is a tough pill to swallow for people who take pride in that golf course look.
It is, but the alternative is bare soil and weeds.
Right.
So to recap our deep dive today, LVN is a viral disease that is devastating Floratum lawns in South Florida, especially in the cold months. It spreads by mowers and aphids, so you can't completely stop it from entering your community. And the only long-term fix is to switch to a resistant grass like palmetto or citra blue.
That is the summary. It is a one-way street. Once you have it, you have to transition.
I want to leave our listeners with a bit of a provocative thought here. We spend so much energy trying to maintain this specific aesthetic, this carpet of Floratum.
We do.
But if a single virus, aided by a tiny aphid and the weather, can wipe out the dominant grass of an entire region, is nature trying to tell us something?
That is the big question. Monocultures planting just one thing everywhere are naturally fragile.
Right.
If we had mixed lawns or different types of ground cover, a virus like this wouldn't be catastrophic. It would just be a blip.
Maybe the era of the perfect green carpet is a luxury that nature is starting to revoke.
Maybe.
Maybe we need to rethink what a beautiful yard looks like in Florida.
I think that's a conversation every HOA board needs to start having. Diversity in the landscape is resilience.
If you are listening to this in Boynton Beach and looking out at a brown, crispy lawn, don't panic, but do take action. Contact your local UFIFOS extension office.
Get a diagnostic test.
And please, for the sake of your wallet, do not buy more Floratum.
Knowledge is your best defense here.
Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive. We'll see you next time.